Welcome back to Lyrical Lemonade TV. I'm your host, Sara Kolli. I'm with special guest, Jessie Reyez today.
Hola.
So, Jessie,
Yes.
you're here in Chicago for the first night of your poetry reading tour for the second volume of your book.
Mm-hmm.
How was your poetry reading event here in Chicago tonight?
It was fun. It felt very cozy. And it was a big room, a lot of people, but somehow it still was able to feel very intimate. Everyone was really sweet. It was nice to see everyone's faces light up and the fact that some people in the room are like, I gave that prompt. Like, you know what I mean? It's a very communal moment. Loved it.
So also with that, it's like, do you feel like you almost feel more supported in a way through like, you know, how fans communicate with like snaps during a poetry reading versus like them singing along to your songs? Like, what do you think is almost feel more supportive?
The snaps are cute.
Yeah.
The snaps are hella cute. I feel supported in both.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't feel like I'm left out to swim on my own at either. I feel very, very supported in both.
So this book specifically was derived from fan prompts, if I'm not mistaken. Why'd you choose to do that? I think that's super interesting.
Because I was itching to get shit out. I always say that it's like the natural creative rhythm to like make and release and make and release. But when you're lucky enough to work in the industry, you realize that that's not conducive to the fucking context that we're in. You know what I mean? You need a plan. You need a marketing plan. You need contracts. Producers need to all be on the same page. DSP, Spotify, like there's just so much logistics that are involved that a lot of people don't see. So you can't just make and drop same day. That's very rare. But I was itching to do it, and I figured out a way that I could do it and get away scot-free. I was like, fuck it. It fell into my hands. It was on Instagram and posting the story that says write a song about and then blank. And then everyone that answered would tell me what to write a song about. And I was like, sick. And I also, I treated it also like the gym because I like to work off of quantity and then getting my quality from the quantity.
Okay.
So I lean into speed and I'm like, all right, let's go next. All right, let's go next. So that felt great. And I got the itch scratched and nobody could tell me shit because it was like 15-second songs.
Right.
Then I think one day I didn't have my instrument. I didn't have my guitar. So I was like, all right, fuck it. Instead of make a song, I'm just going to write a piece about. And then it turned into that. And poetry's always been my first love. So it felt like coming back home.
Were you dropping these songs on Instagram?
Yeah.
Or okay, so then when it comes to the poems, were you like writing them privately like every single day, like kind of devoting time to be like, okay, I'm going to write these many prompts a day? Because I'm sure you're getting like hundreds every single day.
Yeah, it was nice. I don't think, it's not like I allotted because I didn't, it's not like I started this thinking, okay, I'm going to do this many and then I'm going to make a book.
Yeah.
It was really functional more than it was purpose-based or destination-based. And apparently, I wasn't even cognizant of the rhythm that I was doing it at. Like, I didn't know that until one of my manager was like, yeah, you're doing it like once a week. And I was like, true.
Right.
And I sometimes would do it for like hours because it's so fun. It's legitimately like I have a great time doing it. Sometimes hours would pass, and then I realized, I need to give myself a limit because I got shit to do, and this is too freeing. So then I limited myself, and I was like, all right, I'll go on, and I'll be like, all right, I'm doing a quick 10, and whoever's available is available, and if you missed it, you missed it. That's what I loved about it too, because it was ephemeral, because they would only last for 24 hours, and then it was gone, and then slowly. I also love that some people would be like, I'd see comments or messages of like, fuck, we just missed it. Fuck at this, fuck at that. But I loved it. I'd rather be missed. But eventually I started seeing some messages like, damn, I gave you a prompt a few months ago. I would love to see that poem. Or, damn, I would love to go somewhere and have them all in one place. So naturally, I conceded. And I was like, fuck it. All right, let's make
a book. Yeah. What's the difference between writing a song versus writing those poems based on those prompts?
It's a lot more freeing. There's a lot more freedom. There's not... When you're playing in music, you have boundaries, and the boundaries are time. The boundaries are what key the song is in, what chords are at your disposal, not being fucking flat, rhyme scheme, cadence. There's a lot of boundaries that are great because they challenge you to make something that's elite within that confine. But what's beautiful about writing poetry is that all that it disappears, and it's just freedom.
Poetry has no rules.
No rules, yeah. Unless you're subscribing to like if you feel like doing a limerick or you feel like doing a haiku or you feel like doing something that's specific and give yourself that sort of goal, sure. But the thing I love is that poetry is very synonymous with like freeform, no rules.
How do you write? Do you do stream of consciousness or do you like to be attached to a structure?
Both.
Yeah.
Both. Yeah. I love, because I play with words every day. So I love both. Love rhyming, love free form.
Or if you like can't find a word for something, are you like looking up at a dictionary, thesaurus, or like how do you like make sure you're not reusing the same words? Finding new descriptors, things like that. This must be so fun to like explore with all that.
Yeah. I read a lot. So like my natural lexicon is very diverse.
Mm-hmm.
And my natural lexicon is very diverse.
I know. In my head, I was like, "What the fuck does lexicon mean?" I was just gonna go
my
with
library.
it.
My library of words as a plentiful supply. So I pull from that often. And like a trick I use that some people do, like if I'm trying to find a rhyme and it doesn't come to me naturally, I'll go through the alphabet.
Yeah.
So like able, babel, dable, fable,
Okay.
like A B C D E,
Yep.
all the way down. And then yeah, if worst comes to worst, you ask Google, but I try not to do that, even though that's where the world's heading. We're all leading into AI anyway. But worst case, when I can't find it, then I'll go on like Rhyming Zone and then pick and choose if I want to pull. But to be honest, because I like to lean into the speed, I dislike doing that for this exercise because it hinders. Yes, it's an impediment. It slows you down.
It's an exercise. It seems
it's
almost
an exercise. Too. Yeah, it's definitely an exercise.
That's super cool. What does the people's Purge Words of a Goat Princess mean to you in your words, really? Because the title I think is so interesting and so striking.
The whole exercise is very communal, and the coolest shit for me in doing it was that when I open these prompts and I just see this ocean of sentences of people's experiences, it's literally like looking into a peephole of a genuine human experience.
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing. What's that thing on TikTok that's like, I know there's no genuine experience or there's no
original experience.
Yeah, there's no original experience because we're literally just different iterations of the same shit.
Right.
Just different font. I love that if someone were to give me something and it looks like a square, I love that me changing POVs and looking at it from the ceiling and then seeing a square and then me wanting to come back down and all of a sudden I see a pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the truth. It doesn't negate each other's truth. It's just me looking at it differently. Yep. But it's still like the fiber of human experience is still very present. I love that.
Mm-hmm.
And I love that it's essentially when people send me, I see their names, but it's not like it's blasted who sent it to me and like, right. You know what I mean? So that blanket of anonymity, I think allows for people to be more vulnerable and forthright with whatever burden, whatever skeleton, whatever body they got buried that they wouldn't talk about publicly, but they'll give it to me to blossom it in a different way.
The People's Purge.
The People's Purge. Yeah.
So then why Goat Princess?
My lawyer, we got in an argument, or not an argument, we were in a debate a few years ago over some shit, and I was going through my points, and I may or may not have been exaggerating a little bit, and he was like, okay, he's like, you're gonna be fine, like, go relax, you psycho goat princess. He said some shit to me like that, and it stuck. Shout out DJ. Yeah, it stuck.
It's a little nickname for you.
A little nickname that stuck.
From your lawyer.
From my lawyer, yeah.
So have you been writing poetry a long time before music, or is it something that happened kind of at the same time? Because obviously songwriting and poetry are very similar.
Yeah, no, poetry was my first love.
Mm-hmm.
Poetry was my first love.
You start writing poetry young?
Very young, yeah. Poetry was my first love in terms of like the first thing I ever got recognized for, the first medal I ever got was in a poetry festival when I was like 12. And also, shout out to my grade 8 English teacher, Miss Hidden. Mm-hmm. She was the only teacher in my life to ever call my house with good news. Ever. And the reason it's pertinent to this story and to say like why poetry was is such an early pillar for me, I think I owe recognizing that in me early to her, because my family's from Colombia, and like my folks would try to help me with homework and shit at home, but it was very helping me with universal topics. Like when there's a language barrier, still you can help with math. When there's a language barrier, still you can help with science because it's universal. But with English, it's not. My parents' hands were tied.
Right.
And they're just used to me getting in trouble or used to getting calls at home with like negative shit. But and I don't even know if she understood I don't know if she understood the weight of what she was doing, because she's a white lady. Mm-hmm. I don't know if she understood that, like, how much this was going to mean for me, for my parents to hear that sort of elevation from an outsider on a subject that they otherwise wouldn't have had any sort of inkling that I had skill in. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah. So I think maybe that's also contributed to why poetry was such a bigger factor, because it was almost something that was sanctioned by the fucking schooling system, which is a whole other topic that I can get into because I'm not a big fan of institutions. But because poetry falls under English and it's sanctioned by the school system, a teacher gave me the blessing in a way that my parents were like, oh, she's not getting in trouble. She's kind of good at something.
Yeah, right. So you learned about it in school, or like kind of fine tuning that skill in school, or was it something that you did outside a lot?
I did it in both. I did it at school, and then I would do it creatively at home.
So I kind of want to go back, almost kind of tying it into music, but poetry and songwriting, do they feel like they kind of come from the same emotional spaces for you?
Poetry and songwriting come from the same emotional space, but because the restrictions are not present in poetry because it's more free form, I think that I'm gifted the space to lean more into consciousness instead of being cognizant of it needs to fit this, it needs to fit this cadence, it needs to be this melody, the melody's got to be sticky. Like it's nice because both feel free, but one allows for more space for spirit, for rawness, for yeah.
So kind of going back for a moment, what was your early relationship with music like? Was there like a defining moment where you realized this is what I meant to do?
I always loved it. I was lucky because I sang a bit in church. My pops played guitar a bit and I was lucky to have a guitar in the crib. My mom saw it in me before anybody. My mom, she says that she caught me in front of the TV when I was like 3, mimicking Pavarotti. And then there's a spot in Toronto called Jane and Driftwood, and on the corner of Jane and Driftwood there's a pizza spot, and in the basement of that pizza spot was a music school, and she took my ass there, and like the guy was like, no, she's too little, she's too young. And she did her best and like convinced the guy to take me on as a student. So introduced at a young age and loved it.
So she saw that,
and I got fired from a lot. So I think that's probably what also kind of pointed that this is it. This is what you're supposed to do, because every other thing I got fucking fired from. So
no, I feel that. I've been there, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
What is the biggest difference that you saw with the Canadian music scene versus like the US music scene? Because you really experienced both, which I think is interesting.
There's pros and cons to the way that some things are delivered and controlled. Like in Canada, there's a thing that allows for more of a platform from Canadian artists, which is great. But the downside is that, like, if certain stations have to play a certain percentage of Canadian content, that's great. But unfortunately, it blinds some people to the comparative success outside, because then there's a ceiling that you don't see, because it feels like complete success because you've been given, not favoritism, but given more opportunity. You know what I mean? And then once you leave Canada, then it's like, oh shit, wait a minute, it's a little different, and the ceiling exists
right
there. So it's pros and cons.
So I mean, you as an artist, you've made your own music, you've also written for other artists. What is the biggest difference in your process when you're writing for someone else versus yourself?
The biggest difference in process, if I'm writing for myself, I kick people out because I don't like a full session. I don't like entourages. I don't like homies. I don't like partners. I kick anyone that's not essential
right
out of the room. What else? Oh, when I'm in there and I've been invited in as a songwriter, I'm very aware that I'm not driving, so I'm there to support.
Got you.
You know what I mean? And what else? And to make sure that there's a lot of people. There's a lot of wonderful singers that don't write. There's a lot of writers that don't sing. That's just what it is. But to make sure that when the singer is singing the song and it doesn't feel synthetic, to make sure that they sing with more conviction, I want to verify that there's a piece of their truth in the song. So before we even start writing, my question to accelerate to that point of intimacy will often be like, when's the last time you cried? I'll ask them that, so that we start raw, and then we'll work backwards from that.
That's really interesting, because your music is so raw and emotional, I feel like. And I've always wondered, like, with that, you must like obviously cultivate that space with other artists, but even with yourself too, like sharing that with fans and sharing that with so many people who honestly like can put together pieces of your private life, things like that. How do you like manage still staying so emotional and raw but still protecting your peace, especially as an artist?
I have a lot of loner tendencies, and I like my alone time, so that helps maintain my peace. Yeah, I just work on self-betterment.
I like that.
I'm a human being before I'm an artist. And I remind myself of that often to make sure that I'm taking care of my spirit, my soul. I'm around people I love when I can be. Touch grass, pray, journal. Journaling fucking saves a lot. Oh my God, I forgot to journal yesterday. Fuck. But I do that.
Do you
That
have like
helps
a
me.
journaling method, or do you just freeform?
Yeah. I have a journaling buddy. That shit is elite. And that, because a lot of people want to do it, but then some people lack discipline and some people some people lack discipline and lack consistency. But what helps so much is if you can't find yourself being consistently accountable to you, there's definitely an added layer when you have to be there for somebody else. So I have an accountability buddy for my journal. And we literally, it's so elite. If there's, but this applies to anything. If there's anything in life you want to do, like if you want to lose 10 pounds and you want to start going to the gym consistently, and you have a homie that has a similar goal, commit to this, and you literally just send each other emojis to confirm that you did whatever action you're supposed to do.
Ooh, okay.
Yeah. So at the end of every day, like if you looked at our chat history, it's so cute because it's literally just like notes, note emoji, note emoji, note emoji, and it's just confirmation that we've done it.
So very communal, journaling communal too.
Yeah.
I feel like you seem like someone who really like loves that idea of fostering community with things.
You know, I think I'm leaning into it more now because there was a time where
Although you say you're a loner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I'm leaning into it more now.
So talking about your album, Pain and Memories, that album blends funk, Afro beats, R&B. I feel like your voice can live in any genre. I don't know how intentional that range was when building the project. Was that something that just happened naturally, like through exploration, where you're like, I really want to do this, this, and this?
No, that happens very naturally. My palette is just diverse because that's how I came up. Like my introduced to cumbia and salsa first, and then reggae, and then and then hip hop, and then Pac, and then Biggie, and then soul, and then I started going backwards, and Otis and Etta, and then Amy, and then Lauren. Like it's just oh my God, and then Queen. What, the first time I heard Bohemian Rhapsody, I damn near melted. I'm a student of this. I love this. So naturally, what I make is reflective of the rainbow ass palette that I've grown up with.
Yeah, I peeped the Cardigans inspiration too. It's probably like all about that. So you're just listening to everything all at once, would you say?
Pretty much. Yeah. Well, not. It was chapters in my life where I discovered new things, and I was like, oh, and I'd soak in it.
What chapter are you in now?
What the fuck am I in right now? I'm not gonna hold you. Everything's been moving very, very fast, and when shit moves like this, when shit moves at this speed, and I'm leaning in to find equilibrium and just more peace, Bob Marley saves my ass like crazy. Like, I just play Redemption song and I feel my spirit go. So
beautiful.
Yeah. But Bob's a reoccurring chapter in my life often.
Calm. Peace. So the visuals for Couldn't Be Me with the live performance were so beautiful. We were literally all watching it today, just like gagged, like literally just sitting there like, this is beautiful. But the comments were going crazy. Yeah. And my favorite one was this one.
Let's go through these motherfucking comments.
This one was, bet this has so many married women second guessing their marriages for sure. It's like when you see comments like that, like, what do you think?
Don't shoot the messenger, man. Yep.
So, I mean, you even posted, you were talking about doing a little remix to the song.
Yeah.
Who have you been thinking about hitting up for that remix?
I don't know. You guys should throw it in the comments.
Let us
know who you thinking for the remix.
Maybe it'll be out by the time.
Maybe it'll be out. Who knows? Maybe it'll be out. It's in God's hands.
So I want to talk about the album cover because the photos and those blacked out sections feel really deliberate. Like, what was the idea behind that visual concept?
I am a minimalist. And I also like negative space and a focal point. And I just really wanted people to see exactly what wasn't
on there
and focus on that. Particularly the celebrity one, like who's your favorite celebrity? Me.
Yep.
It's very it's just very indicative of the kind of grit that I had from since young.
Yeah, I noticed you dedicated your book to yourself too.
Yeah, man, the fuck.
I loved it.
Yes, out here.
So I have to ask though, based on the album cover, like, so what are your favorite sayings? What are your pet peeves? That's what I noticed right away.
I know. Nah.
Keeping it secret?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I wanted to ask, was the recurring motif of yellow in your visuals and album cover intentional?
Yes.
What is that? Why yellow? I mean, we are lyrical, I have to ask.
Because, which I see, I love yellow over here too.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I often live between poles,
Mm-hmm.
like live between polarities. And 2020 is when really shifted, because I was lucky enough to experience success before that, but I hadn't really embraced it. And growing up, I've said this before, when you switch between languages,
Mm-hmm.
you really notice the different nuance that certain words carry. And some words carry positive and some words carry negative. In English, ambition is positive. But in Spanish, cuando uno dice ambición o ambiciosa, it doesn't necessarily always have that positive connotation to it.
Mm-hmm.
That also translates to, like, I didn't come from bread. I didn't come from a rich family. And sometimes when you see that and you haven't grown up in it, the things that you hear, the cacophony of noise when you hear someone being judged, they're like, oh, that person?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that person? Like, but it's crazy because sometimes that's not an accurate judgment. Some people are just jealous. Some people are just haters. Some people just don't see that for themselves. So it's very different. But because that was my perspective, I feel like I had a difficult time sitting into my success and feeling comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But it was a slow process. And also, when I started getting calls, everyone goes through it. This is a very recycled trope of, like, you know, people were hating on you and then you start getting success and all of a sudden everyone's like, oh my God, we loved you this whole time. Oh my God, we've been supporters. Like, you know, so I was going through that, and I'm a very emotional person. And when I was going through it, I definitely felt away. And I started becoming even more recluse and even more of a hermit. I didn't want to talk to fucking nobody because I felt like everyone wanted something from me.
Right.
And I'm lucky because I have my family close, and my folks saw me start to retire into that.
Right.
And my mom pulled me aside and she was like, Mija, you can't fault people for the limitations that they projected onto you, because that's just limitations that they had on themselves.
Right.
They didn't have your vision. They didn't have your, you know, your optimism, but you can't fault them. You just have to understand that they just didn't have your vision. And then my dad said it in a same thing in a very blunt way. He looked at me, he's like, what do you want people to call you when you're losing? And I was like, fair, points were made, okay.
Yeah.
And so it shook me out of that. So I started embracing more of it. And the older I get, the less I can tolerate fear in me. I've come to, like, view it with disgust, to be honest.
Right.
So now if something scares me, I want to run towards it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I started as a songwriter too, I would often hear, like, early on, like, Jessie, you be giving away hits. You be giving away your hits. Why aren't you keeping them?
Mm-hmm.
And then I would sit with that and think, am I sabotaging subconsciously myself because of all of the foundational shit that I mentioned about this and about the connotation around ambition and about this and about that. Also, where's my self-love? Because if I've worked this hard and I'm aware of how hard I've worked and I'm aware of what I've sacrificed, why wouldn't I be willing to embrace reaping the fruits of my labor?
Right.
As I've grown, I've become more aware of that. So I've committed to running towards what makes me afraid. Yellow is often indicative of either joy, happiness, jubilation. But at the same time, yellow is also indicative of caution and fear, and this is poisonous, or this is, like, So the idea of maturing and finding more of a disgust for fear and consciously running into what makes me afraid because it's an opportunity to grow is what yellow represents for me.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Thank you.
What is your favorite track of Paid In Memories to perform live? Just love performing.
So far, my favorite track of Paid In Memories to perform live is Couldn't Be Me.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because of the way that we're doing it. Like, before the song starts, we run it one time a cappella. No me. I leave the mic and I walk away, and the crowd takes it, and everyone just belts that shit.
Wow.
Yeah, I love it. That's hella fun.
That sounds like such an amazing feeling.
It's cool.
What's the last thing that creatively sparked you, whether it was a movie or a book or just a random moment in your life?
The last thing that creatively sparked me. What's the last song I sent y'all? What's the last time I was in the studio? The Palo Santo remix that the world doesn't really know about yet. But I guess this could be a seed.
Mm.
Palo Santo remix. There's this book called The Kabbalion that's about the what is it called? The Hermetic Principles. And it talks about things like, you might have heard the ether, as above, so below, and the law, like, etc. And there's this one part in the book that is so elite. It is so elite. And it's pretty much talking about how, like, okay, if as above and so below is such a reoccurring pattern in life, and if our veins look just like rivers, the capillaries in our veins look just like rivers, our lungs look just like roots in a tree, our everything, the parts of the galaxy look like the iris, like there's so many patterns.
Mm-hmm.
It then posed, if we are made in the image of God, and we have infinity at our disposal, and we do have infinity at our disposal, but we have it in a sense of consciousness. Because if I told you, think of a kingdom, right now you can think of a kingdom. There's no shackles. You can think of whatever the fuck you want.
Mm-hmm.
If I told, like, anything, it's free. And that's us in our conscious state. If you're dreaming, you're making worlds. You're a God. If you're dreaming, you're making worlds. You're making movies. There's multiple people who exist at once in different time frames. Like, it's a whole. It's limitless. Now you come back to the concept of as above, so below. Our veins are rivers. Our lungs are trees. If that's our capability with the concept of infinity, imagine God's.
Mm-hmm.
If we are capable of making worlds, and we're infinitely capable in that regard, and we're made in the image of God, and we're trying to really digest and question what the universe is, and question what this life is, and question what we're doing, and question our purpose, and question where we come from. But if that's the miniature version and we are limitless, then imagine God's. That shit made me put the book down and lay back, and I felt high.
Yeah.
And I'm sober, and I literally said, it's been a long time since a book made me do that.
That's
and I had
cool.
to set it down. Yeah. Isn't that insane?
That's crazy.
Because it puts a lot of things into perspective. Like, if that's me, then what's God?
That's so interesting. Because I always hear, I think, therefore I am. But then that's even higher than that, really, at the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for sharing that. That was cool.
Thank you. Yeah.
So this is going to be a crazy, like, left turn after that.
Okay,
but
left turn. Let's go.
I just saw that clip of you bungee jumping, like, 4 times off a bridge.
Yeah. I heard that men never choose. The one that they really love is the one that they lose. She ends up being...
Are you an adrenaline junkie? Like, what is that? Because I saw you, it's like, oh, I see you, like, flipping off a bridge, and then I see the caption, like, I loved it so much, I had to do it 4 times.
Mm-hmm.
What was the story behind that? Like, is that something you like to do? You like to be, like, a little daredevil and do, like, skydive? Like, what's the story?
Mm-hmm. I skydive, too. I love it. I love anything that allows me to feel weightless. So I love swimming. I love, like, going to the middle of a lake.
Mm-hmm.
Love skydiving. Love bungee jumping. The idea of weightlessness is a gift to
You
me.
fully ran off that bridge.
Yeah.
Is that planned? Were you, like, waiting to do that? Or you just kind of were in the area, like, let's do it?
No, I saw this shit on TikTok like a year ago. I saw someone do that, and I was like, what? And then I saw the caption. It was like, highest bridge in the world, or highest bungee jump bridge in the world, South Africa. I was like, sick. And I knew that we were eventually going to go there, so I saved it.
Right.
I'm so happy I did, because then when we got there, I was like going through my safe shop. I'm going to find this shit. And then I found it, and I went, and I loved it.
That's insane.
Mm-hmm.
And I wanted to ask also, what's your favorite Quentin Tarantino movie?
Ooh, it's a tie. Pulp Fiction
Mm-hmm.
and Kill Bill.
Kill Bill, just original?
Yeah.
I'm a fan of Kill Bill, too.
Yeah, hard. That's like one of the reasons that my first EP is called Kiddo is because Beatrix Kiddo.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
So
super cool.
Shout out, yeah.
Shout out Tarantino.
Shout out Kill Bill.
And I always like to end with this, but where do you see yourself in 5 years? What would you like to accomplish?
I'd like to have more peace in my life. Maybe have some Grammys on the shelf. Maybe be retired.
Ooh,
Maybe be retired.
you might have been the first person to say that.
Yeah, maybe be retired, man. My managers start sweating. They're like, what? Y'all have been warned. I've said this prior. 5 years time, maybe before that, girl. Who knows? But I'm going to write till I die. I think I'm a creative till I die. I can't help that nature in me. But everything else of the industry, I got a little more gas left in me. But in 5 years time, on a farm, in a lake, jumping off a bridge.
Yeah, we build that bridge over the lake on the farm.
Girl, yes, exactly.
Retired.
If I could grab everything with some goats and some horses, some dogs, my family clothes, a couple acres so I can have houses like
A writing shed.
a writing shed. But that's where it ends. No rehearsal space, no none of that. But just like writing shed. Because I think I think I'll create forever. But yeah, everything else I don't know. But we'll see. It's up to God. It's up
Sounds
to God.
picturesque. Thank
Yeah.
you so much.
Thank you.